Another episode of This Week in Sports. I am your host, Romeo Sharp. We got our co-host, Jaron. Jaron, he is not here today. Jaron is out actually in Ohio. Jaron, how are you feeling in Ohio? Down in
It's
Ohio. Down in.
it, it's Ohio. There's nothing. There's no more to it than that. That's all I'll say. I don't want to be mean.
No, that's real. That's real. I mean, it's kind of fitting because some of our topics today kind of deal with some of the teams down in Ohio, relatively, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. Noah, how you feeling today? You doing good too?
I'm doing okay. I'm stressed.
Hey, y'all. Not gonna lie to you guys. Jaren's not gonna hate me for this, but we're gonna glaze Noah again because Noah was able to. Noah was able to really.
Jaren fucking hates me. I don't know why the fuck he's even here, bro.
That's what I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, that's some real hater shit right there, Jaren. But honestly, y'all, look, Noah was able to make this thing shake, make some things work. You know, he was working for this one for real.
Jaren, clap for me, bro.
Come on, clap. Come on, Jaren. Let's clap for him. I ain't gonna lie. That's some hating ass shit, Jaren.
Yeah.
But again, Jaron, like I said, it's kind of fitting that you are kind of in the northern region of the U.S. right now, or like the Midwest or whatever. But because we got to talk about some AFC North teams, and we also have a huge trade that actually just happened not too long ago. What was it? Jalen Ramsey has been traded, Jaron. So the Miami Dolphins have traded away Jalen Ramsey, Jonnu Smith, and a 2027 seventh round pick to the Pittsburgh Steelers for Minkah Fitzpatrick and a 2027 fifth round pick. So some of the Steelers' new defensive pieces include Jalen Ramsey and Darius Slay, alongside the young guys like Joey Porter Jr. and Benny Bishop. Jalen Ramsey is joining his fifth team after 2 years with Miami. He's totaled last season, he had 60 total tackles, 2 interceptions, 11 pass breakups. For Jonnu Smith, he had 88 catches, 884 yards, and 8 touchdowns last year. Last year was probably Jonnu Smith's best year statistically. For Minka's actually a former first-round pick in 2018 for the Miami Dolphins, so he gets a return back to the team that drafted him. So that seems like a pretty cool deal for him. He had 96 tackles, 1 forced fumble, and interception in 2024. He was a Pro Bowler as well. Before we get into that, our thoughts, Jaron. One of my friends, you know Trey, right? Trey, he sent me a text message when this happened. I was still asleep before I woke up to the news, but I woke up to his text message, and he was like, I quote, he said, "Nigga, our secondary is about to look like the Legion of Boom." All right, now, so let's dive into this speculation that our boy is talking about, Trey. What are your thoughts so far, Jaron, about this trade?
I mean, I don't know if it really moves the needle for the Steelers as much. I I just don't see the reason for it. Minka's younger, and Minka is probably a better player as of right now. Would we agree?
I would definitely say so.
So I mean, I don't see why you trade one of the better, if not the better player in your secondary. I mean, you would think that the idea would be to pair the two and have them play together.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it could work out. I don't know. I mean, Jalen Ramsey hasn't been too available though, as well. So I mean, it could also be. I don't know. It could be better for the Dolphins.
And you mentioned it like he's younger, because if we look at it and what Trey's saying that it was that it could be the Legion of Boom, this is more so maybe the Legion of Doom, because these are some older gentlemen for sure. Darius Slay is 34 years old, and he's had some injury issues in the past as well himself. And then obviously Jalen Ramsey, he's 30 years old. That's not particularly old, but you are reaching that level for sure in terms of a player for your availability in that sense. Jalen Ramsey, he's no scrub for sure, Jaron. He's not no scrub. But I personally didn't think Minka would be the one. Like you said, I don't think he was going to be the one to get shipped off. But I don't know if you've heard as of recently, honestly, throughout the whole offseason, Jalen Ramsey has hinted that he would probably be transitioning to safety regardless. So I think, and he played some safety snaps over at Florida State in college. But I think when he got to the NFL, he was rarely at the corner position. But he can play safety, Jaron. He was a ball hawk over there at Florida State. Let's not forget. And like I said, he still really is an elite corner. And I mean, regardless, the Steelers have made some daring moves for sure. What do you think about, maybe him transitioning to safety? That's probably why they shipped off Minka.
I mean, if he's able to produce at a good level at safety, then that's great. And that it'll work. If it works for them, it works for them. I just don't know. Didn't they got who else came with that trade? I'm sorry. It was
They got Jonnu Smith. They got Jonnu Smith. So on the offensive side of the ball, but they also, and we'll get into like some of the other prospects that they got as well. In terms of Jonnu Smith, Jaron, though, I mean, he's an established tight end. I feel like he's reliable,
Yeah.
big frame guy. I think he's gonna be a really nice weapon for Aaron Rodgers. But then again, I think the Steelers are kind of loaded at that tight end position, almost the same as the Cleveland Browns being loaded at the quarterback position in a sense. Well, we won't say loaded. I would say more of a crowded tight end room. Would you say? Because I know they got a bunch of guys. They got Pat Freiermuth, and then like I said, they got Jonnu Smith, Darnell Washington, I believe. I think they actually signed another tight end this offseason as well. I can't remember who it was in particular, but like I say, I mean, it's a nice weapon for Aaron Rodgers. Like, Jonnu Smith is coming off a career year with Miami, I feel like. So after having some pretty mid to below average stints with maybe the Giants. I mean, not the Giants, the Patriots and stuff like that. How do you feel about this Jonnu Smith being included in the deal?
I think that's what probably makes it a little more compelling for them. They get an established tight end with Jonnu Smith because I just don't see like the player for player, because that's essentially what it was. In that right, they're swapping Minka for Jalen Ramsey. Adding Jonnu Smith to the trade makes it a lot. It makes it more. It's better for them in that. And Jonnu Smith is going to produce right away. Even if they do have Freiermuth's still younger. Jonnu Smith has played for many years and played at a high level for many years too.
Definitely. And I mean, and let's look at the other side of this trade, the Dolphins. I think they get a more polished Minka back, who we saw was probably had his best years with the Steelers. I think the Dolphins only had him for almost a year and a half before they shipped him off in 2019, I believe it was. So they had him in 2018 for his rookie year, and I think they traded him midway through his second year in Miami, and so they got a more polished Minka who played under Mike Tomlin. Who is a very good defensive-minded coach, I feel like. So, all in all, I think the Dolphins won this trade for two reasons. One, they're dumping Jalen Ramsey's contract because that was a hefty contract he had over there in Miami as well. And then he was also going to ask for more money regardless too. And then also, same thing, the Jonnu Smith. They're avoiding to pay Jonnu Smith because he was probably expected to make, the top dollar range in terms of a tight end, maybe top 10, top 7 tight end kind of salary. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I think in that sense. Who do you think won this trade?
I got to give it to the Dolphins. I think you get the younger defensive player. I guess it depends on how you look at it, because Minka's going to give you more years of high-level football. If you look at it for just this upcoming season, you could argue that the Steelers made a good trade for this year. I think overall it'll end up being a better trade for the Dolphins.
Most definitely. And then, some questions I feel like that, us as NFL fans were probably thinking, okay, we're ready to see. We got to see how the Steelers are going to use Jalen Ramsey. Like I said, they got Juan Thornhill, and like I said, we'll get into more of their other accusations at the acquisitions at the safety position as well, and also their corners. They got their two young corners. I don't think they're going to put those corners on the back burner and throw in Jalen Ramsey in there. He will definitely be a good mentor for that young secondary over there in Pittsburgh. And then obviously there's reports out there that the Dolphins weren't done shopping around. They were looking for another suitable tight end. Before I even brought this up today, last night I was like, okay, who would they go for since they just traded Jonnu Smith? They wanted to get another tight end. I was thinking maybe, I don't know how likely it was, because they could probably pluck out Mark Andrews out of Baltimore because they have Isaiah Likely, but it's been actually, I don't know the trade details. No, if you can look up the trade details, they actually traded for Darren Waller, and that's your boy right there, your boy from the Vegas Raiders. He played for the New York Giants. He actually retired earlier this year, but then he just unretired and has been traded to. Was it a trade or maybe he signed with them? I can't really actually remember.
I think he got traded.
He got traded.
His contract was still with the Giants.
Yeah, so he basically unretired and got traded to the Miami Dolphins now. So Tua got himself a suitable tight end himself as well in Darren Waller. Jared, you have a lot of experience in watching Darren Waller. How do you feel about that?
He only retired because he didn't want to be in New York. It's just really what it is. He was great he had 2 straight great years for us, and then Gruden got fired, and ultimately that was what led to the downfall of the Raiders. But we won't get into that.
Yeah,
But
we'll get into that another day.
he's still very capable of playing football, and he'll be great for Tua. They got speed over there. He's a tight end that can run really fast, just to put it lightly.
No, most definitely. And then overall, I feel like this entire move, this entire trade, for the Dolphins, at least, I think they definitely improved their secondary. That wasn't that great last year. I think they were like bottom 20 in terms of defense against the pass last year. So bringing Minka back in is definitely gonna improve this defense overall from a year ago. I mean, the AFC East is tough, and we'll get into the AFC East at a later date as well. But I think overall, in terms of them, I can kind of give a prediction for their ceiling. I think their ceiling maybe 10-7, wild card spot right there. But their floor could definitely be 7-10 if Tua's not healthy and injuries are insane, and if Mike McDaniel's, obviously a lot of people been kind of hindering at him about him on the hot seat. So this could be a defining year for Mike McDaniels and that Dolphins team. So if they fail to produce and make the playoffs, this could be his way out. But that's really what I gotta have to say about that trade as well. But I also want to know what you guys think down below about this trade. Who won this trade? Like I said, Jalen Ramsey has been traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers alongside with Jonnu Smith. Let me know what you guys think about this trade. And then, like I said, Jaron, as for the Steelers and then the AFC North in general, I think it's fitting to even talk about the NFC North since, again, you are in Cincy right now. So you're probably pressing that front office over there to pay their guys over there. I mean, I know you're not a Bengals fan by any means, but I know you're probably over there like, hey, pay your top guys. You know what I'm saying? So, because they're very stingy over there. But, again, I mean, Jaron, we're 10 Sundays. We're 10 Sundays away. 10 Sundays away from letting our respective teams and the overall season, kind of define our moods for the rest of the year. I feel like. So let's kind of break down each team in each division. So we're gonna do that every week. But starting with this week, we're gonna start with the AFC North. So let's kind of break it down. What happened in the AFC North, at least last year. So the Ravens, they won the AFC North crown last year. Some guys that are key guys that they re-signed was Derrick Henry, Ronnie Stanley, Rashad Bateman. They added some key pieces in Jair Alexander, Chidobe Awuzie, DeAndre Hopkins, and they also drafted Malachi Stark. So it looks like, and I think the Ravens had one of the best defenses in the NFL last year, Jaron. So, yeah. And they just even improved even more. And then they also, it looks like they added some weapons for Lamar Jackson. I think the main issue for the Baltimore Ravens is that they don't have a true wide receiver one. Obviously, I think Zay Flowers was injured last year. I believe that's what happened. And then so Rashad Bateman had to step up and stuff like that. We look into it when we look into this team. I mean, it kind of looks the same. It kind of looks like the same team that could run it back. We'll get into that those predictions in a bit, and then let's look into the Steelers as well. So the Steelers, they went 10-7. They lost 5 in a row. Jaron, I don't remember. It was a full-on collapse for the Steelers last year, including a wild card game to close out the season. We already mentioned who they added. They added Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith. Obviously, they signed Aaron Rodgers. They traded for DK Metcalf. They signed Kenneth Gainwell. They got Robert Woods, Darius Slay, and also signed Juan Thornhill as well. A key guy that re-signed was Deshaun Elliott. That's one of their key defensive guys in that backfield for them. And then they also drafted Will Howard, Caleb Johnson, and Jack Sawyer. Those are some of the key guys in this draft that they picked up that I think will probably contribute sometime later down this season or within the next year or so. And if we look at the Bengals, Jaron, the Bengals, they went 9-8. They missed the playoffs last year. They did have a strong run to end the season, but it just wasn't enough because, my Denver Broncos kind of squeezed in there. But so they re-signed. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, B.J. Hill, and Cody Ford. Those are some of the main guys. The only guy that they really kind of added that maybe was some type of value was Samaje Perine. And then they also drafted Shamar Stewart. That's really what the Bengals, their kind of offseason kind of look like, and we'll go into theirs a little bit more too. As for the Browns, now the Browns had a very, very busy offseason themselves. They went 3-14 last year, dead last in the division. They re-signed Myles Garrett to make him the highest paid defensive player in the NFL. They added a lot of quarterbacks, So they added Joe Flacco. They added Kenny Pickett. They also added DeAndre Carter, Deontay Johnson, Jerome Baker, Devin Bush, Rashawn Jenkins, and DeMonte KZ. Those are some of the key guys that they added. Like I said, they had a busy offseason for sure. And the guys that they drafted, and like I said, I think they had a really solid draft for these Browns. They drafted Mason Graham, Carson Schwarzenegger, Quinshawn Junkins, Harold Finnan Jr. They drafted Dylan Gabriel and Shador Sanders. So, before I get my opinion, Jaron, I want to get your overall thoughts. What do you think about this AFC North? How do you think this is going to pan out? What team do you think improved the most this offseason? Do you think there's a team that probably didn't move the needle as much? What's your thoughts?
As far as this division goes, I mean, the Ravens defense got a lot better just by adding Malachi Starks and adding Jair Alexander. Their defense gets a lot more dangerous in that sense. I think the Steelers might have did a little bit more this offseason to make themselves more competitive. So I would say they probably got better. I still think the Ravens are the best in the division. The Ravens are definitely going to be the team to beat, and they're probably going to have 14 wins or more this year. And the Browns are the Browns. They're going to do the same thing they did last year. That's nothing new. And yeah, the Bengals they didn't, as you said, didn't move the needle as much. They didn't do shit in the offseason, and their first round draft pick hasn't even signed papers. So they get an F for sure.
So basically, let me hear you out straight. So this is what you're thinking. You're thinking it's going Ravens, Steelers, Bengals, Browns?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Okay.
more than likely.
I'm going to have to, respectfully disagree with you, though, because in terms of the Ravens, though, we're kind of on par in the same thing. I think the Ravens, obviously, they're going to win the division again. And I believe you said 14. I think they go 13-4 this year. They definitely will win 13 plus, 12 plus games this year. They still got Lamar Jackson at the helm. So with Lamar Jackson, you're going to win football games regardless. In terms of the Bengals, though, I know regardless of their contract situation, their contract issues with Trey Hendrickson, Shamar Stewart, and whatnot, I don't know. I mean, they played really well. They played very strong up until the end of the season. I think they could probably squeeze out 11 wins this upcoming season and make the playoffs as a wild card team for sure at 11-6, I think. So, and then in terms of the Steelers, though, they were kind of busy themselves. But I don't think it's enough, Darren. I don't think it's enough for them to squeeze into the playoffs. I see them going 9-8. They still got a winning record. Mike Tomlin, he knows how to still win games, and but I think they go 9-8, but miss the playoffs in that sense. And then for the Browns, I think the Browns might improve a little bit. I'm not too much. Maybe 3 wins three more wins as opposed to this upcoming season, 3 or 4. I think they go 7-10 this year.
The Browns go 7-10.
I think the Browns could go 7-10. I think this is how it's going to play out, Jaron. This is how I feel like it's going to play out. The Browns, in terms of the Browns, they're going to start off with Joe Flacco. They might go 2-4. 2-4. First 6 games, 2-4. Joe Flacco doesn't do anything too flashy. So then they turn over to our boy. They give the reins to Dylan Gabriel. You thought I was gonna say Shador, huh? No, I was like, I see. That's a sticky situation. Dylan Gabriel might get a little bit of playing time as well. They might give him 3 games, and he might go 0-3. Dylan Gabriel go 0-3. What? Go ahead.
Okay, Romeo. All right. Whoever's starting at quarterback, I just want you to hear this matchup and say win or loss. Okay, just be real.
Let's go.
Week 1 against the Cincinnati Bengals.
That's a loss.
Week 2 against the Baltimore Ravens.
That's a loss.
Week 3 against the Green Bay Packers.
That's a loss.
Week 4 against the Detroit Lions.
That's a loss.
You see the trend here, right?
Yeah.
Week 5 against the Minnesota Vikings.
That could be a W.
Oh, get that
That
fuck
could
out of
be
here.
that could be a
defense-
W. That could be a W
Come
right
on
there.
now. I'll let you hold that. Week 6 against the against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I mean, they got wait. By the way, the AFC North got each other's numbers, so anything could go. I think the Browns, is it in Pittsburgh or is it on the road or is it at home?
I believe this is in Cleveland. Excuse me.
That's a W.
Interesting. Week 7 against Miami.
That could be a W.
Oh, I'm sorry. Pittsburgh would be away. It would be an away game.
That would be an L, but then they're gonna beat Miami.
This is where I think their first winnable game is.
Go
Week
ahead.
8 against the New England Patriots.
Ooh.
That is. I think they go 0-7 literally to start the year.
And that's what, and see, but that's the perfect opportunity. See, I like what you're doing there, though. That's the perfect opportunity to bring in either Dylan Gabriel or Shador. You know, not Kenny Pickett, but all love to Kenny Pickett. But bring in Dylan Gabriel or Shador. I feel like that's the perfect opportunity for these two teams. But I mean, I kind of get what you're talking about. But like I said, in terms of all these teams, though, I mean, I think the Steelers, like, I mean, I see your vision too. I think they could sneak around and steal the division themselves as well. Maybe the Bengals too. You can't count out Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase in them. I know obviously they have the offense to back it up, but do they have the defense to back it up for the Bengals? You know what I'm saying? So that's the main question there. So we have a couple questions actually for a couple of these teams. So for the Browns, obviously the huge one is who's going to be the quarterback for the rest of for the season. Are they going to have a quarterback carousel going on with all 4 quarterbacks in the room? Obviously, Deshaun Watson is not playing this year, but he will be helping out, mentoring the quarterbacks as well. But also, if we look at the Steelers, you know, they're having contract issues as well. They're having contract issues with TJ Watt right now. And it's not looking too good. They're not having any progress right now, Jaron. So that's probably one of the big questions right there for the Pittsburgh Steelers. As for the Cincinnati Bengals, obviously, they have their contract issue with players. So what are they going to do? You know, what's going to happen with their players? Is Shamar Stewart going to suit up? Is Trey Hendrickson going to suit up? You know what I'm saying? And then for the Ravens, I think this has been the daring question probably since Lamar Jackson's been playing. Can he get over this hump? Can he get over this playoff hump? Can he actually get to the big game for once? Can he be an established winner in the playoffs? That's probably the main thing. Because I think he only has like 1 playoff win in his career. So, and obviously, wins aren't always a quarterback stat, but obviously with him, with Lamar Jackson, he's definitely, you know, kind of struggled a little bit in the playoffs. So those are kind of my big questions for those teams in the AFC North. So, but I also want to know what you guys think down below about the AFC North. What's your breakdown of this these 4 teams? Do you see the Ravens being the repeat champions? Can the Steelers take the reins, or maybe the Bengals? What about the Browns? You know, the Browns got any kind of chance? You know, Jaron doesn't think so at all, but you know, maybe there could be potential there. But let me know what you guys think down below. All right, Jaron, let's kind of do a quick transition over to the NBA. And now, Jaron, this is kind of crazy to me because I feel like with the NBA, the offseason, the turnaround is very quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were just talking about the Thunder winning the NBA Finals, and now we're already into the offseason with trades and big signings and stuff like that. So, you know, and it kind of like puts the Thunder winning the championship on the back burner unless you're a Thunders fan. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I mean, I don't know because like it's just very quick. Because I know obviously the NBA offseason is a little bit shorter than NFL or, you know, I don't know, maybe MLB or something like that. Like I know it's a little bit shorter than some of these other major leagues and stuff like that. What is it? Because their offseason begins in June and then they turn it all around back in October, right? Something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, it's in full effect, Jaron. So we got some trades, some signings, some Sean bombs for sure out the floodgate. So let's kind of dive right into it with our first little trade that actually happened. And, you know, this is probably something that Noah will really enjoy and that Noah likes as well. The Bulls, Jaron, have traded Lonzo Ball to the Cavs for Isaac Okoro. Now, Lonzo is traded to the number one seed team in the East. And now I think he could truly compete for a championship or even, you know, for conference finals appearance at the very least. So, Jaron, before I get into it and, you know, before you get into it, Noah, this is your boy right here. You've been advocating for Lonzo ever since he came into the league, man.
Oh yeah. Number one, of course, I'm gonna say it. He needs to stay healthy. That's a given. He's got to stay healthy. But if he was put in a position, in Chicago to succeed, and he did until he got injured. But he flowed with that offense. He flowed with the 2 shooting guards. And what does Cleveland have right now? 2 shooting guards. They don't have a playmaker. Darius Garland, he's a good guard, but he's really more of a combo guard, and so is Donovan Mitchell. So they really don't have a playmaker. Lonzo is that. And if he can just stay healthy, and they kept Evan Mobley, they kept Jared Allen.
That is crazy.
They gave up Isaac Okoro, who they don't really even utilize like that. So this is a win. Jaron, what do you think? Is that a win?
What do you think, Jaron?
It's a win. I mean, you give up some good decent 3-and-D with Isaac Okoro.
Sure.
But I mean, I guess you got Evan Mobley and Jared Allen inside.
But
I do
is
agree.
Lonzo like
I do
a
agree.
3-and-D guy too?
Yeah, he is. He because he's taller, he can guard. He can guard the 1 through the 3 probably. You're right. The biggest thing I agree with is the playmaking and the overall point guard, like the availability with or the possibility of more playmaking with Lonzo Ball. I don't think he starts though. That's the only thing. I don't think he meshes with that starting 5. I think he comes in as a 6-man. No,
I think,
though,
I
don't you
think
think?
he's a 6-man for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, but honestly, and then correct me if I'm wrong, y'all. I feel like this is the best team he's been a part of by far. That's what I personally think. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously in New Orleans, it didn't really pan out as well. There was potential there, but you didn't actually get to see the potential. I mean, the Cavs, like I said, they were the number 1 team in the East last year, so it's like they obviously were, in that sense, the best team in the East. Obviously, the Pacers came in and took care of business, but I think having someone like that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know about that, Jaron. Come on now. But I mean, I think all 3 of us kind of agree that if he remains healthy, you can definitely see something special. I mean, yeah, I mean, he could be up there probably for 6th man of the year candidate for sure. You think so? What do you guys think?
Yeah, for sure. Shit, I mean, the way Darius Garland was unavailable, he could end up playing a lot of starting minutes next to Donovan Mitchell too. So.
Yeah, yes indeed. And then as for the Bulls, though, y'all, let's kind of look at, they created some of their, some top guys in this for their team in the recent years. I think we posted the graphic yesterday. So the Bulls, they traded away, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Alex Caruso, and then obviously Lonzo Ball. And then in return, they've gotten guys like Josh Giddey, who's probably been paying pretty well for them, I think. Kevin Hyder, Chris Durant. Or Chris Dart, I don't know if I said that right.
Duarte.
Duarte. Then obviously they just got Isaac, Zach Collins, Trey Jones. I think they only gotten 3 picks, maybe 2 picks, or 3 picks really all together. They had their the 2025 first round pick, and they also got 2 second-round picks out of all those players. I mean, if we look at it from a wider scope, I mean, some of these guys really aren't first round pick, type of talent that you'll trade for. So I think maybe obviously the Bulls got a little bit much of something going in return, but I actually don't really know what the front office is really doing. Jaron, what do you feel about this Bulls team so far?
They probably could have squeezed out more first round picks from, at the very least, Zach LaVine.
Maybe the DeMar DeRozan too.
Alex Caruso, you could have got maybe, but Josh Giddey I think that's a fair trade for them because Josh Giddey's very young. Him and Matas will be cool up there. They'll be able to flourish, but I mean, yeah, they could have they made these trades without the future in mind, I feel like, or whatever they have in mind for the future. It just doesn't look. It doesn't look like they're not cooking shit, they're not really.
It doesn't look promising. It doesn't. No, you're right. It does not look too promising for them.
Right.
Like I said, I genuinely don't know what they're really doing here. like I said, I think they're trying to get as young as they can possibly get, I guess. But the East. I mean, the East is technically. I guess the East is pretty weak. I mean, I don't know. I feel like the Bulls can still are in contention to be a fringe playing team still. You know what I'm saying? So just because how the East kind of the East isn't that competitive, I don't believe. But what do you think, Jaron?
I mean, they're not competitive. The East sucks, yes, but that's a bottom 3 team in the East.
You thinking a lottery pick team?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of tanking. I would probably put it more towards like, oh, let's go try to get a higher pick in these next couple drafts. Whatever the case may be, because they had a lot of older and more injured injury prone players, and now they shed that weight, and now they take a couple years to rebuild. I think that's more the idea.
No, definitely. And I'm curious, like, wait, so I mean, who are they tanking for? Like, are they tanking for are they looking at Carmelo Anthony's sons right now? Maybe get one of them? Is that what
I mean, shit, you won't know until we really don't know until like the season starts, college season starts.
Bryce. They trying to get Bryce. That's what they see. They're trying. That's what I'm thinking. They're checking for one of these folks, because so who knows? So
I mean, yeah, there's tons of kids out there. I mean, Wemby has a little brother that's like over 7 foot tall as well. Yeah, Carmelo's son, Gilbert's son. They're both about to be in college. Chris Paul has a son who looks real smooth. He's only like a sophomore right now. Like, there's hella like people out there that we see. They could be scouting something. They're
scouting a 6th grader or something. I don't know.
They do. I bet they do. I wouldn't put it past them. They're
scouting a 6th grader or something, y'all. But in terms of what the Cavs, Jaron, what do you think his future will look like? Like, I think, like I said, they're in the contention now. I mean, it's the same as last year. Like I said, they were the number 1 seed. Do you think maybe this could be the team that Lonzo could possibly get his ring from? Do you think Lonzo will get a ring?
Yes.
No, I don't think they win a ring. I don't think Donovan Mitchell and Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland and Evan Mobley are going to be the ones to take you to a ring. But I definitely could see a finals appearance for sure. And yeah, Lonzo will be a big contributor to it. Lonzo is a great player when healthy, very good player.
I mean, I don't know if he's just seen, and LeVar Ball, he speaks into existence. So he even said, he's like, Lonzo was a missing piece for the Cleveland Cavaliers to make it back to the NBA Finals, Jaron. So, hey, anything's possible. You know what I'm saying? They kept some of their core guys around regardless for the Cavs. They didn't give up too much for Lonzo. And like I said, I mean, he could probably be the 6th man, obviously coming off the bench, playing some hefty minutes. And now we'll be playing some meaningful minutes as he moves forward, and hopefully he'll get some good playoff experience, because I don't think he hasn't gotten any real playoff like experience, has he? I mean, what was it? Did he have some with the Pelicans, or was he hurt? I don't know. I mean, I know he was hurt majority of his career, unfortunately.
I think the Pelicans made a play and put one of those years, and then the Bulls were a 4 or 5 seed, but he was hurt that year. So I don't know. I don't think he's ever been a part of a deep playoff run. No.
It's going to be exciting to watch and see what Lonzo Ball can contribute to this Cavs team. And then for the Bulls, I mean, I don't know what the hell they're doing, but we'll see. We'll keep an eye on the Bulls and see what their future entails. Like I said, Jaron believes that they're probably going to be a bottom feeder team, be a lottery team. I think they could possibly still be a fringe playing team. Like, they're going to get that 10th seed. You know what I'm saying? By the skin of their damn teeth, they're going to get that 10th seed. So, but overall, y'all, I want to know what you guys think about this trade. Like I said, Lonzo Ball has been traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And just let me know what you guys think about this entire trade. All right, Jaron, look, man. We keep talking about it. Your Lakers, they ain't making no moves, and I don't think they still made a move, and we're I don't know how long we've been recording so far, Noah.
30 minutes.
30 minutes, and still no news for your Lakers. All love to you though, but because I want to rub it, kind of rub it in your face a little bit. So Miles Turner signs a deal with the Milwaukee Bucks per Shams. Let's kind of run it down real quick, Jaron. I think in order for this deal to get done, though, They had to waive Damian Lillard, Jared. And I think this is probably the shock of the NBA offseason so far, I think. I think it was kind of surprising, and I think it's one that's probably going to haunt the Bucks for sure. So, Jared, what do you think about this signing and obviously the waiving of Damian Lillard?
I think they're just trying. They were trying to, show Giannis, hey, we want to compete this year. We want you to stay and play with us. But in turn, they've just pissed him off even more. So, I don't think. I think signing Miles Turner was great, but just getting rid of Damian Lillard coming off of that Achilles injury. I mean, he's not going to play. He's not going to play. No one's going to sign him probably. He's probably just going to sit around this year, more than likely as a free agent. Maybe he sits on a bench. I don't know. But, I mean, why not? I mean, you're going to pay him for 5 years. They're still going to pay him for 5 years because they have to. Why not allow him to sit on your bench and rehab with the team? I don't understand that. That didn't make sense to me.
Most definitely. No, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. I mean, most definitely. I mean, and like you said, I mean, Giannis, it's been reports out there that Giannis was unhappy about this and was kind of, what was it? Taken by surprise himself, him and Damian Lillard, actually. So I guess according to Chris Haynes, which I thought he was going to be an unreliable source because he has, like, in these last couple days, he has been putting out reports that haven't been too reliable. I'd get my reports from Shams. Shams knows what he's talking about. So, but I guess he's the cousin of Giannis's wife. So he's pretty connected to Giannis and, just that. I feel like that Bucks organization, Damian Lillard, like all the players over there in Milwaukee. And that he even said that, Giannis is unhappy with the move and that that waiving, Damian Lillard was a bit unexpected. So, you know what I'm saying? What does this mean for Giannis, Jaron?
Oh, man. If they don't look to replace, because I mean, obviously Giannis wants to play next to another superstar. He wants to play next to another high caliber player. If they don't make an effort to bring that to the team, I think he may look to request a trade before the trade deadline this year. He may even hold out. I mean, like pull an AD, like what AD did in 2020. If he gets that upset, because I mean, I don't know if you've seen what he's been posting on Twitter. Just kind of like he posted a picture of all of his hardware and was talking a little shit. Like he thinks highly of himself, which he should. I mean, he
definitely.
is. He is that type of player. So he could look to hold out and look to be moved to a different team.
I mean, he was in MVP finals last year. You know what I'm saying? Like he was MVP finals. Was it Stephen A? It was Stephen A who called him an underachiever. Am I correct? Was it Stephen A? So
whoever it was, right?
Somebody, yeah, one of the NBA analysts, or ESPN analysts, they called him an underachiever. Obviously, because he doesn't have 2 rings. He has a ring. You know what I'm saying? So we're looking at this, and I'm like, I don't like. And I seen that post you're talking about where he posted all of his hardware, calling him an underachiever. Hell no, he's putting his all for this Bucks organization from when they were a bottom feeder team. You know what I'm saying? With 17 wins, 20 wins to get into the upper echelon and winning a championship. So it's like he's definitely not an underachiever. They built this team around him, and he's contributed and he's brought them a chip. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of this, let's kind of look at this trade. Let's not steer too far off the track here, but let's look at the trade. I mean, the Miles Turner. I mean, we talked about it. We talked about it last week. We're like, well, I personally thought he was going to stay with Indy, but I thought he was going to still be on the trade block after, because they didn't win a championship. So, and Miles Turner, didn't play particularly well in the finals. So, and I think we mentioned it ourselves that he's been on the trade block for the last 6 years in Indy. You know what I'm saying? He's the longest tenured Pacer. And that they every single year had come up because obviously the Pacers' shortcomings or something like that. He's the scapegoat. We're gonna look to trade, Miles Turner or whatever. Like I said, it was all just speculations here and there. It's never really nothing actually came to fruition. But in terms of Miles Turner, I mean, it's a huge defensive presence for the Bucks and for Giannis as well. You know what I'm saying? Because I think what Noah mentioned it last week. I mean, what he lacks on the offensive side of the ball, he makes up with his defensive prowess for sure. So, Jaron, overall, what do you think? I mean, aside from the Damian Lillard being waived and stuff like that, we're looking at Miles Turner as the player. How do you feel about this trade?
I mean, it was good. The signing was great. They didn't. They lost Brook Lopez, and he would have been cheaper had they been able to re-sign Brook Lopez, but they were able to replace him, and I think that is like the most important thing. And it also shows Giannis that they, hey, we prioritize, playing the type of basketball that won us a chip, and we're going to keep continuing to try to play that kind of basketball. So they brought in another center. They had to pay him over 100 mil, but I mean that's just the name of the game. He just came off of a good year, so I think it was, they probably didn't want to pay that, having to deal with Damian Lillard and having Giannis, who is worth so much. But it's a good signing as far as the player he is, and what he's going to bring to the table.
Most definitely. And then I guess in terms of Dame, I mean, you already said it yourself. You think he's probably just going to sit out for the rest of the year or something along those lines. But I believe you don't think maybe he'll sign with the team. And like you said, I mean, just maybe even wait until the playoffs and just ride it with the team in the playoffs or anything like that. Any team in particular that catches your eye that he could go to?
I don't know, I couldn't say there's a particular team, but I could see him doing it if he did it for like cheap, really cheap.
You think?
Like,
I mean, yes, he is getting paid by the Bucks, but you think he's going to sign like a vet minimum, Jared?
no,
Is he?
I
Oh,
don't.
okay.
I
Oh, okay.
wouldn't.
Okay.
I wouldn't.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I
Mm.
don't think he would. I think if he, because I don't. What? Why would I want to sign Damian Lillard this offseason, this year, if he's not going to play and he's going to want 15, $20 million a year, whatever the case may be, 12 to 20, however much he gets,
Mm-hmm.
when he could take his time, rehab, and then you could go, then he works out for teams, then he visits with teams and does all that, then he can show, hey, I'm still Damian Lillard, I want this much money. That would be that's probably what he is going to do. That's what I would do. But I mean, if he wants to be on a team right now, maybe be available for playoffs if they make a deep run, I mean, I don't think he does that for no more than a vet minimum. Like, there's no way.
No, okay, I get where you're coming from. And then do you think? Obviously, I mean, we still gotta wait to see how this pans out. But do you think this Miles Turner? I think you kind of mentioned it. Do you think this Miles Turner trade moved the needle for the Bucks a little bit?
I mean, they're still first round exits. You know, uh, it doesn't change anything. No, it doesn't change anything for them. They needed a healthy Dame, or they need to, like I said, replace that 24, 25 point scorer to put next to Giannis.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, Jaron, before we get to our next thing, I want to know what you guys think about this signing for the Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks, they signed Miles Turner, but in doing so, they had to waive Damian Lillard. What do you guys think's next for this Bucks team? Do they find someone to replace Dame Lillard? What's next for Giannis? I mean, it's been kind of up in the air for him and his future with the Bucks for quite some time. These last 2 years, it's kind of been seems like he's been unhappy, probably a little bit longer. But what's next for Damian Lillard? You guys let me know down below in the comments, okay? All right, Jared. Well, I guess moving away from a team that you believe didn't really move the needle, maybe this team in your eyes moved the needle. So the Denver Nuggets, they traded Michael Porter Jr. in an unprotected 2032. God damn, 2032 first round pick to the Brooklyn Nets for Cam Johnson. So
That's that sixth grader.
that's that sixth grader they're looking at. So
Mhm.
so hey, Jared, before I get into it, what are your thoughts about this trade so far?
Good. It was good. They got essentially the same type of shooter, if not a better. I'd say he's definitely a better overall player
Better
than
defenders, you think too?
way better defender.
Mm.
And I think he's probably better offensively. He's a better playmaker because Michael Porter Jr. don't play make. All he does is shoot, and he takes some wild ass shots.
I seen the
sometimes.
comments. I seen the comments that on
Yeah,
Instagram. Them folks were not giving him an inch at all.
yeah. So I
Pause.
mean, it's something that, wow, it's something that makes them better. And then with the other things they did as well, the other free agency signings, which I'm sure we're going to talk about, it's just they're putting themselves in a position to be the best team in the West again,
Ye-
or at least to be in contention with the Thunder.
Yes, sir. Most definitely. I mean, like I said, I mean, they get a 3-and-D wing in Cam Johnson, who can help space the floor for the Nuggets, and he's a financial flexibility too, because it wasn't that much. They didn't get much. They didn't pay him too much. They still got enough room to make even some more either signings or some more picks or anything like that to kind of like help improve this roster for Jokic. Because didn't what is it, the owner or the GM of the Nuggets, he went out and stated like, oh, if something happened, this is not verbatim, but he was like, oh, if something were to happen, injuries play a huge part in the sport, that they were potentially might have to, I don't know why they were hinting at that, but potentially have to trade 15, talking about Jokic. So I think that getting Cam Johnson helped him out as well. And like you said, they made more moves. They also brought back, and we talked about him, was it last week, Jaron? Or like 2 weeks ago? We talked about Bruce Brown Jr. They brought him back, and they also traded for more depth at that center position, as they traded Dario Saric for Jonas Valanciunas as well. So I don't know, Jaron. I mean, I think we talked about it during their exit out of the NBA playoffs this last season, that they needed the main thing that was hindering them was depth, and now it looks like they got that. So kind of going a little bit more, Jaron, what do you think? Like, I mean, they got Bruce Brown Jr., Jonas Valanciunas, who can back up Jokic. I think I said it earlier before we started the show. I mean, now Jokic can sit for more than 5-10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, he could probably, get some good rest for sure. So what do you think about this, Jaron?
It's they're dangerous once again. I hate the Denver Nuggets for obvious reasons as a Lakers fan. So the last year was great to see them struggle even a little bit. Even though we were any better. But in addition to all that other stuff, Tim Hardaway Jr. also just signed with the Nuggets too. That happened just before we started recording. So I mean, yeah, they got scoring with Tim Hardaway. They were able to get rid of a stupidly shitty contract with Michael Porter Jr., bring in a guy who can do exactly the same thing and add to their defense, and you get Bruce Brown back. I mean, yeah, it's just, and then yes, you get a very, very, I'm not gonna lie, Jonas Valanciunas is a good backup center. That's a good backup.
That's a great backup center.
He can start on some teams,
Yeah.
in some cases. So that's a really good turnaround for them in just a couple weeks. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty good.
I mean, they took the Thunder. They took the NBA champions to 7 games in their series. So now it's looking like now, and I mean, we watched Jokic in this playoffs. He looked fatigued. He was tired. I mean, he was out there for 48 plus minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, he couldn't really leave and when he left the court, the team just looked like they were they're in shambles. You know what I'm saying? They just looked like they didn't have much going for them because, like I said, they lacked so much depth on that team. Noah, you have something to say?
So in the 2025 playoffs, Nikola Jokic led the Nuggets in points per game, rebounds per game, assists per game, steals per game, blocks per game. The only other center who logged playoff minutes was DeAndre Jordan, and he had less playoff minutes than Jokic's average per game.
See, Jared, that's great. See, we thought we could rely on DeAndre Jordan. Come on now. This ain't 2012 now, buddy. But, I mean, just looking Noah just read that off. Like, Jokic, he probably is going to express too much, himself, it seems like, as a player. But it was obvious he was fatigued for one, this whole playoff run, and they needed some help. Their bench was so, subpar. It was, obviously besides Russ on the team, because they didn't re-sign Russ. Huh? Russ is now
not yet. He's
not
still
yet.
A free agent.
Yeah, so Russ is still a free agent. So I mean, and I think does that push? I think that pushes Christian Braun into the starting lineup now, right, Jaron? Or what do you? Because wasn't he coming off the bench?
Maybe Cam Johnson.
This next year, it'd probably be what? Jamal Murray, Christian Braun, Cam Johnson, Aaron Gordon, and Jokic.
Hey man, so I mean that gives Jokic some like I said, and then with Valanciunas being on the bench now too, and like we just stated, that man could start on many other teams. Definitely your Lakers for sure. Your Lakers would love someone like him.
Wow.
But like overall though, this trade really is just and these signings and really just helped out the Denver Nuggets and their depth. They're 2 years removed from an NBA championship, or 3 years or something like that from removed from an NBA championship. As for Michael Porter Jr., Jaron, I mean, he could be the number one option in Brooklyn now. You know what I'm saying? He's going to jack up maybe 25 field goal attempts. Him and Cam Thompson?
Him and Cam Thomas are gonna fight over
Oh,
possessions.
man.
They both shoot way too much. That's not gonna. They're
It's a hard
just
game.
with all the picks they have. There's gonna be a breeding ground for players to get traded to and from for picks. That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna probably try to do the OKC method and just build picks up over time. They'll probably get MPJ out of there after his contract's up. If they can't, they probably won't be able to trade him. But guys like Cam Thomas, other guys, Nick Claxton, those guys will probably be on the move. They had 5 first-round picks, and they drafted all 5 of them.
And they got all 4 of the 5 picks. Weren't they guards? So it's
I don't know what they were doing.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I don't know what. See, there's a lot of teams that I don't know what they're doing, and Brooklyn's another one of those teams that we don't know what the hell they're doing. But I mean, for MPJ, I mean, we can't act like he was a scrub. I mean, he played pretty well in the playoffs. He was battling injury as well. I think overall, though, I mean, he's been on the back burner in Denver for the majority of his career because he's playing with Jokic and obviously Jamal Murray. So, being the third option or whatnot doesn't really pan out well for him. But he was still getting averaging 18 points a game or something around those lines. So it's like he was still doing something. He was still contributing, and he contributed well to their finals run as well. I think maybe, just kind of with Clay, the same thing. Maybe this might be a fresh new start for him. Maybe this might be something that works in his favor. What do you think, Jaron?
You're probably right. I mean, he was the number 1 player coming out of high school, going into college. He was the number 1 recruit. There was the mock draft that comes out before college starts. That his freshman year, he was the number 1 overall pick. I remember all that. He had a lot of hype around him, and he was pretty much he played like Kevin Durant in high school and college, but he actually hurt himself in college, didn't play the entire year, only played 10 games or less, and was still a top 15 pick. So I mean, it says a lot. He probably can still go out there and do it. But I mean, he's been sitting as a corner boy in Denver for so long. Can you are you
He's
able
gonna be the centerpiece now for Brooklyn, unless Brooklyn buys him out and he probably just goes somewhere else. I mean, it happens, you know what I'm saying? I mean, there hasn't been any reports about it, but obviously it could spark up some type of thing for him to probably go to another team, maybe even another contender, or something like that. So, I mean, overall, I mean, I kind of touched on it, but I mean, Jaron, the comments on Instagram are probably as funny as hell. I'm not gonna lie, because if a player is getting sent to either Brooklyn, Utah, Washington, you know what the fans are saying? They're being sent to hell. So it's I mean, it might not be the best situation for him, but definitely in terms of his career, for his personal accolades, probably could be the best situation for Michael Porter Jr. Not the team itself, because Brooklyn doesn't got much going for them, but for Michael Porter Jr. himself, like I said, this could help him make even more money. You know what I'm saying? And make more money, and maybe a contending team will see this and be like, hey, maybe we do want to bring him on, and he can go for the ride and possibly get himself another ring. So
yeah.
And then, I mean, I think you already kind of answered this. So some questions I'm thinking is obviously, are these the pieces the Nuggets needed to get back to the top? And definitely, I mean, like I said, they had a 7-game series with the Thunder, so this might be the team that can, dethrone the Thunder, possibly, what I'm saying, in the West at least. So, but overall, I want to know what you guys think down below about this trade right here. Like I said, the Nuggets, they traded Michael Porter Jr. for Cam Johnson. And they also signed Bruce Brown Jr. and also traded for Jonas Valanciunas, y'all. So let me know what you guys think about these signings.
Once we sign DeAndre Ayton, we'll be the team to beat. Watch.
All right, we'll see about that, Jaron. Well, Jaron, we have another. It's a sign and trade, actually. Another sign and trade went down not too recently ago as well. Is it Nickeil? Yeah, it's Nickeil Alexander-Walker. It was a sign and trade deal between Minnesota and the Atlanta Hawks, Jaron.
No.
So the Hawks are sending a future second round pick and some cash to Minnesota for so they're able to acquire what is it, Nikhil Alexander-Walker. So before I get into my thoughts about this, Jaron, what do you think about this sign and trade for the Hawks now?
Atlanta's dangerous. They got a chance to really push for a top seed in the East and push for Eastern Conference Finals. I think so. You put all this defense. You got him. You got Nikhil Alexander-Walker, Dyson Daniels, Jalen Johnson, Kristaps Porzingis. You still have Onyeka Okongwu. Like there's a lot of defense around Trae Young, and I mean, we saw what he did in 2021. He took a team of scrubs to the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, this team is a lot. This team is good. It's catered to him. So there's it's successful. It's a good trade.
It is a good trade, and again, it's another 3-and-D guy on the move. I mean, he's very reliable in that corner 3 spot for sure as well. I mean, we heard it all playoffs for the Minnesota Timberwolves of Alexander Walker. You know, posting up in that corner spot right there and just jacking up threes here and there. I mean, I think Atlanta needed a player like this. I think, and like I said, it was a really good move. After being a week removed from, like you said, they traded for Kristaps Porzingis, where I think we talked about Kristaps Porzingis too, thinking that he was going to be on the move as well for because Boston's looking to, I think, revamp their entire team themselves. So again, when Trae's on the bench, they got a fearsome defensive backcourt, like you said, with Alexander Walker and then Dyson Daniels, who was a most improved player, and then also he was a candidate for defensive player of the year, correct too as well.
Yeah, he was top 3 in defensive player of the year voting.
And also, Darren, don't forget they picked up another shooter as well, and Luke Kennard as well. So I think, and I like I said, I like what you said there because because I think for the Atlanta Hawks for the last couple of years they've been in this slump of being like mid, like genuinely being mid. Like they're the definition of men. They go 41-41 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like they middle of pack type of team, like a play-in team. You know what I'm saying? I think they can get over this hump. Mm-hmm. You say top seed. I'm definitely. I think they top 5 for sure. Definitely top 5. And again, with injuries as well, that could possibly play a part in the Eastern Conference. Like I said, one of the conference is weak as we keep on hindering and hammering on. Like I said, this team right here in the Hawks, they're a deep team, and like I said, there's a lot of defense around that team right there. Good shooters around too, and then like I said, you got Trae Young, so he's gonna do what he needs to do to bring them. As long as he stays healthy too, we can see the Hawks in the Eastern Conference Finals as well. We're gonna see a new team in the Eastern Conference Final this year. So, again, like, is this finally probably the team that Trae needed to get him over the hump, Jaron? Like, what do you think? Like, what do you think? What's gonna happen here for this Hawks team?
I think they contend for a top seed in the East. Honestly, I like Trae Young. I think he's really good. And you put this much defense around a player like this, he can succeed. There's enough defense around him to shelter him on the defensive side. And when you go out there on offense, you can put him on an island. You got guys who can sit out on the corners and hit threes. You got good rebounders. You got lob threats. It's perfect. It's perfect for him.
Yeah,
doesn't work out. He's got to go.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm about to say, because there should be no excuse. There should be no way this team should fail. There should be no. Obviously, if injuries happen, then okay, we can give him that. But I don't think we can. I think Trae Young's on a short leash. I think this is his team for him. I think this is his team. This is the team that he can put on his back and finally just carry them to, like I said, it's Eastern Conference Final or bust, I believe, for this team. So, and then like I said, with the Pacers, they're gonna get, like I said, they're getting dethroned this year. They're not gonna win the Eastern Conference because now with Tyrese Halliburton being out for, and then obviously Miles Turner, on the move. That team kind of blew up already, so so they're not going to compete this year. So this is it for the Hawks. It's all lined up for them right there. So
yeah. I thought this would happen. When he went down, like, oh, Miles Turner, does he re-sign? And
you did say that, yeah.
There he goes,
and there we go. So and like I said, y'all, there's a plethora of other big signings and other signings here and there that probably aren't going to move the needle for some of these teams, but some probably do that I probably have missed the mark on. We could probably touch on it in our speed round for sure. But I want to know what you guys think about this this sign and trade for Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and then also the other pieces that the Atlanta Hawks picked up. Are they going to be the team to be in the East coming up this next season? So, all right, Jaron, with all of that, like I said, there's still a lot of news to talk about, obviously, but let's kind of get into, the NBA season. Like I said, there's a quick turnaround in the NBA season. And I think what we're going to try to do is, leading up until the season starts, we're going to try to analyze at least 2 to 3 teams each week in the NBA. And then this week, we're going to go down south to the Lone Star State, of Texas, and check out the 3 NBA teams down there and kind of, look over, the roster moves they made so far and some key things that they've done, and see where we have them in our rankings this year. So, obviously, I'm referring to, the Houston Rockets, the San Antonio Spurs, and the Dallas Mavericks. So, in terms of the Rockets, Jaron, they went 52-30 last year. They were the 2 seed in the West. They added some key guys. They added was obviously Kevin Durant, Dorian Finney-Smith, and then they also brought back Clint Capella as well. And then some key people that they re-signed, Jaron, is Steven Adams, Jabari Smith Jr. They re-signed for Ed Van Vliet, and also Ime Udoka as well. They actually re-signed the head coach as well. In terms of the Houston Rockets, Jaron, I think they're a deep team with the same formula as the Thunder. They got a really deep bench over there, and obviously KD at the helm now, and then Amin Thomas as well. Jaron, what do you think about this Houston Rockets team?
They're good. They're great. They're fucking greedy though, bro. Like, can I just be real? That's greedy as fuck. You got 3-and-D guys. You got probably what 2 or 3 of them. And I get it. You lost Dylan Brooks, but you got Tari Eason. You got Jabari Smith. You got Amon Thompson. You go fucking poach Dorian Finney-Smith from the Lakers, who traded how many 2nd-round picks and a player for that. Okay, whatever, that's fine. And then you go and sign Clint Capella. You have 3 guys who are 6'10" that aren't named Steven Adams. That's greedy as fuck, bro. I don't care what you say. But if not being biased, that they're dangerous and deep as hell. They can make they have a lot of room to work with their team. It seems like teams and coaches are trying to have more like 9 and 10 man rotations.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to be the formula for success. So that seems to be what they're going for.
Now let's look over at San Antonio to the Spurs, Jaron. The Spurs, they went 34-48 last year. I think they were like the 12th team in the West. They added some key guys too. First of all, they lost Greg Popovich to retirement. Obviously with his health and everything like that. So, but they added some guys in the draft. They added Dylan Harper and Carter Bryant. They also signed Luke Cornett. So when we look at this Spurs team, I definitely, I think with the Luke Cornett actually signing, I think Wemby can now focus on playing in the 4 spot. You know what I'm saying, Jaron? Because I think he was playing center majority of the time he's been there. So, and now with the depth of Cornett, I think, Jeremy Sochan? He doesn't have to play center now because they had him play center. He was the backup center for Wemby last year. So, and I think, like I said, this is a good move for them. And then Dylan Harper, I mean, he's going to be with the 2nd unit. You know what I'm saying? Like, they drafted him 2nd overall. He's going to provide great depth for them. He has, great ball handling skills. And he's a crafty rim finisher as well. And he could potentially be a really good 2-way guard. He has potential with his defensive mindset and capability as well. But obviously on the offensive side, he's probably going to be a 20, coming off the bench, probably like a 15-point scorer, maybe possibly 10-point scorer off the bench. Obviously, and he'll develop himself. But when we look at the Spurs team, Jaron, what do you think about the Spurs team?
They're good. They're really good. They have a little more versatility than they did last year with their draft and their free agency. They can move Victor around. They can use him like kind of how the Lakers used AD in that 2020 year. Just put a center in there, JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, let him roam around on defense and find out where he needs to be, which is what Victor can do. But my problem is, my guy Luke Cornett 4 years, 41 mil. I mean, is that not is that not a lot? Is that not
For a player of
crazy?
him, maybe. I think they probably reached for sure, but I think at the end of the day, the Spurs were pretty desperate. They needed a center at least have someone that actually plays the center position. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause and then now, like I said, Jeremy Shochan can go and play his natural position himself. Who knows if he's gonna be with the team? Maybe they might ship him off and try to get some more pieces around Victor, but. I think, like I said, with Luke, I mean, yeah, they probably kind of, probably reached a little bit with this signing for sure. But I mean, let's look at the other team too, Jaron. The Dallas Mavericks. They went 39-43. Obviously, we all know what happened with the Dallas Mavericks. They imploded last season with trading away Luka, and everyone was coming for Nico Harrison's for his head. You know what I'm saying? But look, hey, I don't know, man. Look, they were the 10th seed. They made the play in. So, but look, man, they re-signed Kyrie, and Kyrie, he went on to kind of state that he feels like he could win a championship there in Dallas. So. And then some key guys they added Cooper Flagg, of course. They drafted him the number one overall pick. And then they also added D'Angelo Russell. So, again, this is another team that's deep. And, if healthy, they could definitely be a problem in the West, too, I think, Jared. Like I said, with AD, Cooper Flagg. Obviously, with Kyrie, I don't think Kyrie's going to be playing until he's going to be out for a while, too. So, I mean, like I said, and then... And D'Angelo Russell, I mean, he's been balling on every team that's not the Lakers, honestly. So he's kind of been just doing his thing. So what do you think about the Dallas Mavericks, Jer?
Once Kyrie comes back, they're a good team. They're a great team. Without Kyrie, who's their starting five right now? Who would it be? Who are the guards? That's my question. It's D'Angelo Russell right now, and who's the starting shooting guard? Klay Thompson?
Oh, yep.
Like, they're getting cooked. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They're getting cooked. D'Angelo Russell, he may give you a 30-point game, but he's going to give you nights where he shoots 2 for 11, and it's always count on D'Angelo Russell getting cooked. Always count on that. That's always going to happen, whether he's on or off. And then Klay Thompson's a little older. I mean, but when Kyrie comes back, he's no high-level defender anyways. I just think they need, like, something to help. I mean, to help out on the perimeter. They're going to be great inside. I think that may be their saving grace because, a lot of guys like to attack the rim once they get in front of a guy that can't guard them. So, I mean, I could see that, but, helping them in the long run. But that perimeter defense is a little iffy there. It's a little iffy.
It is, but I mean, when we look at all three of these teams, Jaron, I mean, in terms of my ranking, obviously, I think Houston's gonna probably be the better of the bunch. Obviously, they were the 2 seed last year. They could probably compete for the 1 seed. They're gonna be a top 3 seed next year for sure for Houston. And in terms of Dallas, though, I think they're a fringe playoff team. I think for sure they're gonna make the play in this year. That's what I think. And then I think again, I mean, the biggest thing for them, like you said, is that perimeter defense and also staying healthy. Obviously, AD needs to remain healthy, and then hopefully Cooper Flagg remains healthy, and we can see him develop and see what he does. In terms of the Spurs, I mean, they're still a very, very young team. I mean, me personally, I'd love to see, strides for improvement. You know what I'm saying? I would personally think maybe, I don't know, play in at best, maybe fringe play in a team, but I can't see them being a lottery team anymore. I think they're slowly but surely getting to that playing spot right there. So I could see them possibly getting that 10th seed and squeezing in the West. So like I said, as they continue to grow as a team. So what are your? I mean, you probably might have the same rankings, but what are your rankings for these 3 Texas teams?
Yeah, Dallas is definitely the worst out of the group. I would think so. I don't think they're they're not a lottery team. They're not going to be terrible. They're not going to have like 15 wins, but I don't know. It's hard for me to see this team as a play-in team in the West because the West is so stacked. Because what I'm thinking
they were a play-in team last year, Jaron. Just
right last year when Wemby wasn't playing and they were injured. I think this year, if you can take in the fact that their team is fully healthy, the San Antonio Spurs, they're a top 8 seed immediately. And you still have teams like Memphis, you still have teams like uh even if they, Sacramento doesn't know what's going on, they're still there, right? So I don't know. The Dallas kind of is iffy to me. I don't see them as a play-in team at all. And then but the Spurs and Houston, I see them as playoff teams automatically, top 6 seeds, very successful teams. As long as Wemby can stay healthy. Wemby stays healthy, then very good team.
Yeah, he was about to possibly be defensive player of the year, so before he
Yes,
got
he
hurt.
will be.
So, and
He
yeah,
will be.
yeah,
Yeah.
he probably will be this year though. So, and but I want to know what you guys think down below about these 3 NBA teams. Actually, the teams up down in Texas, like I said, the Houston Rockets, Dallas Mavericks, and San Antonio Spurs. Where do you have your power ranking of these 3 teams? Jaron believes that the Mavericks aren't even a playoff team. I believe they could be a play-in team. I think the Spurs, it might be too soon to call. I mean, too soon for them to be even kind of niche a playoff spot. Probably play in though. And then obviously we both kind of have the same thoughts of Houston being probably one of the top teams in the West. So, but you guys let me know down below what you think about these 3 teams.
You got the Spurs being a playing team?
I got them I think fringe, I think maybe that 10th, 9th seed for sure. So, like I said, I think they're just still a little bit too young of a team. But I think we said this about the Thunder, and then look what the Thunder did. So, I mean, look, I could be wrong, but I'll take it to the chin if I got to. But like I said, I mean, I like the Spurs. I actually do like the Spurs. So, but in reality, like you said, the West is tough. New coach at the helm too. So. We can really see what San Antonio can do. So, I mean, like I said, it's still early in the offseason. We can still see other things play a key part. And obviously, like I said, injuries is the name of the game, unfortunately. So, if injuries happen to some of these other top teams, and we could see them pushing themselves a little bit up the rankings for sure. But I don't think they're a lottery team anymore. I think the Spurs are ready to compete. So, probably in the next 2 years, though. But,
Whoa. Don't do
backs.
that.
Hey, tell him to shut the
My
fuck
bad.
up.
Oh, don't talk about
My
my
bad,
dog
my
like
bad.
that.
That was kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
Chill, twin.
But again, just let me know what you guys think down below about about these all these 3 Texas teams in the NBA. With that being said, now, Jaron, we're into our speed round. So in our speed round, like I said, y'all, we kind of get many different topics around NBA, NFL, or whatnot, whatever, honestly. And then we get up to maybe 2 minutes to kind of speak on these topics. So let's kind of get right into it. So, Jaron, the first thing is NCAA basketball makes its return for the first time since 2010. That is the video game, Jaron. So, and it's set to be released in 2028. Jaron, how do you feel about that?
Oh, that's gonna be good. It sucks that it's so far away,
Mhm.
but that's gonna be good.
I
That's
mean,
gonna be really good.
with NCAA football coming out, Jaron, do you think this is going to be on par with that one as well, or what?
Yeah, I hope it's on par with 2K because I play 2K, but I hate it. I hate it with a passion. So I hope this is because I hated Madden and I played NCAA and I liked NCAA football. I like that. I'm not as good at it, but I like it.
Well, yeah, you're like
I
0
like
and 5 against me, so.
Oh, okay, we won't talk about that.
Yeah.
But as far as 2K goes, I like to play 2K. I've played every 2K since 16, so it's I enjoy playing basketball games, but they suck. They always suck. So I'm hoping this one's good.
Yeah, no.
You gotta understand too that EA, they don't make basketball games. Like they stopped making NBA Live for 5 years because it was really bad. So I'm curious to see what they have done in the last 4 years to kind of make a better basketball game. Because I don't know, Jaron, did you ever play the last NBA Live game? I think it was NBA Live 19 or something like that. Yeah. So it wasn't terrible. It still wasn't on par with 2K, but I feel like maybe they could have taken some leaps in the last 4 years, and yeah, hopefully it's good. So
Hooked up.
Hopefully. Next thing, Jaron, look, Savannah James, She wants LeBron, and this is in his quotes, he wants him to retire in the next year or so. LeBron just opted into his player option for the 2025-2026 year. Rich Paul also went on to state that he understands that the Lakers are building for the future, but also that LeBron James values a realistic chance to win it all. Jaron, how do you feel about this? How long does LeBron really have?
I hope it's a half a year with the Lakers and he requests a trade. That'd be cool, but I don't think that's the case. I think he retires with the Lakers in LA. But 2 years. I think he's got 2 years left.
Where do you think he's going to go if he requests a trade? Obviously, he's going to go to a contender, but
I don't give a fuck, honestly. He's like, listen, love LeBron. I'm a Laker fan. 2020 championship, amazing. Him and AD will always be in my heart. But I'm not the biggest LeBron fan. I'm not. I'll just put it that way without getting too deep into it. I'm not the biggest LeBron.
No, if I'm not mistaken, you're not a big LeBron fan either, are you?
Let's keep things simple here.
Yeah,
I don't want to start anything.
I promise y'all, if this wasn't in the speed run, I think they both would probably be going in a long tangent for sure. So, but I mean, like I said, I mean, another thing is about LeBron, you know, like I said, Savannah James, like his wife, she stepped in and said something, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, and we've seen something with a GOAT player himself, something happened. I'm not going to, you know, I don't want to speculate nothing crazy. I don't want to like wish that upon them, but you know what happened with Tom Brady and his wife, Jaron. She wanted him to retire, and obviously, and he didn't. I'm not trying to speculate anything, but you know, with Tom Brady and his wife, she wanted him to retire. He did not listen. He had a love for the game. You know what I'm saying? So let's just hope nothing like that is going to occur or anything like that. You know what I'm saying?
I would hope not. That he is much of a LeBron fan. I'm not. He doesn't deserve to be treated like that. He's
Poor
done
Tom.
a lot for the game of basketball.
Poor Tom,
man. Yeah, Tom didn't deserve that either. But I mean, it's a lot of time. You're away from your family. You're traveling a lot of the time. It's a lot. You probably come home and you're probably tired too. You want to just lay down. You want to chill. You know, do some chill shit. But I mean, it's a little different for LeBron. His kids are also trying to pursue the same thing, and they also were under those same lights. They travel a lot. They do all that shit too. So, I mean, maybe it's a little different for him, but it doesn't seem like his wife is feeling that too much anymore.
Most definitely. Hey, Jaron, next thing is Max Crosby is hopeful for the Raiders, Jaron. So Max Crosby, he went on and told, The Athletic HQ, about how he believes that the Raiders can have a turnaround similar to the OKC Thunder. He said that individual success and things like that are awesome, but it's not why you play the game. You play to win. We just saw it in the NBA. OKC just a couple of years ago was one of the worst teams in the league, but they had a lot of young guys. They trusted the process, they developed, and now they're the world champions. Jaron, how do you feel about Max Crosby and him having this statement put out there? I'm sure that gives you a little bit of confidence in your team.
That he has faith in what we got going on. That's all I can say, man. I hope for the best. I hope we do great things. I hope we can be a team like the Thunder, but we would have to make good draft picks for that to be the case. So
most definitely, Jaron. I mean, look. I think out of all the Raider players, obviously Max Crosby's probably one of my favorites from the Raiders. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure you probably could say the same too. Maybe Ashton Genty will be probably one of your favorites long down the line. Geno Smith maybe. But you know, I mean, there's potential. There is potential there for that team. I mean, Max Crosby, he's believing in the process. He for sure is, because this Raider team is a dumpster fire. But you know what I'm saying?
Oh, really? Okay.
This team is dumpster fire for sure. But like I said, I mean, he has all the faith in the world in this Raiders team, and I'm sure that's like a good thing for Raider fans, because I mean that's one of their star pass. That's their star player right there, and he like I said, he believes in the process. So. Mm-hmm. All right, Jaron. Next thing is Jonathan Kuminga says that he didn't have a chance to prove himself with the Warriors. He went on and stated, he said, via The Athletic, he said, I feel like I'm at a point where that has to be my priority. To just be one of the guys a team relies on, aiming to be an all-star multiple times, aiming to be great wherever I'm going to be at. It don't matter if it's the Warriors or if anywhere else. is something that I want. I want to see what I could do. I know I got it, so I want to really see. I've never gotten that chance. Jaron, how do you feel about this? Do you think Jonathan Kuminga really didn't have that chance here in Golden State?
No, not really. They don't really develop talent in Golden State. The team that Steve Kerr inherited was a team that Mark Jackson originally, brought up. He was a part of all the drafts for Draymond Green and for Steph and Clay and helped develop those guys. I don't know. I feel like I can say confidently, I don't think Steve Kerr and that regime has developed any type of players to be. No, I don't think. I mean, you could argue Jordan Poole. Maybe that's the only one, but
Maybe, yeah.
he's not. He's really not even.
Brandon
He's not that
Podziemski.
caliber.
No, you have something to say?
Pods.
Pod too. Pods probably is one of the guys. I mean, maybe.
Kevon Looney.
And look at him now. He's over at he just paired back up with Jordan Poole.
Yeah.
So in New Orleans,
We're talking about role players.
Great, but they got championship experience.
They do.
From that. So I mean, that's kind of developing.
I think. Do you think is there any particular spot you want to see Jonathan Kuminga at, Jaron? Do you want him in one of the Hellfire teams, or do you think he should go to a contender?
Nah, send his ass to Brooklyn.
Oh my God, no!
I need to see that big three edit.
That big three.
Cam Thomas.
Cam Thomas, fucking
Michael
goddamn
Porter
Jonathan
Jr..
Kuminga. God damn, they be making big threes of nothing. Them ESPN interns be doing everything to make big three edits or whatever. So
New era in Brooklyn.
new era.
That'd be exciting. You can't lie. That'd be exciting.
It would be exciting, but it's a dumpster fire. So you know what I'm saying. Let's just hope for the. I mean, hopefully. I mean, at the end of the day. Hopefully this is Jonathan. I mean, the Warriors should be Jonathan Kuminga's team at the end. By the end of this regime, with Steph and all of them, I think they should pass the torch to Jonathan Kuminga because I mean he's proven himself in the playoffs this year too. He stepped up pretty big when Steph was hurt. So. Alrighty, Jaron. Another thing is, Terrell Owens, he went on to speak on Deebo Samuel's weight, and this has been like one of the main causes of concerns for, maybe Commanders fans, 49ers fans in the past. He went on to say that, that Deebo Samuels is 2 chicken nuggets away from tipping the scale, Jaron. God damn. But there also was just a video, Jaron, of Deebo Samuels on a treadmill, and he was going all out on it. So I don't know. Jaron, what do you think? What should Deebo Samuels do about this weight situation?
They need to get on the Braun plan. I don't know he's on the Zion Williamson plan right now. It seems like every clip I see of him at practice that I've seen so far, I swear it looks like he has a gut. Like he either drinks or he be sipping or something. Like probably be sipping. That's what a lot of these athletes do. But I mean, that's what it seems like to me. He's got a little bit of a gut.
Yeah. So I think if he produces next year for the Commanders and gets to having 1,000-yard receiving season or whatever, like who are we? We're gonna forget all about his weight at this point.
Right? It's like a Luka thing.
Yeah, he's getting a Luka treatment. Like for real, he's getting a Luka treatment right now. So it's kind of crazy. So I mean, we'll see. Hopefully, Deebo loses a little bit. Maybe he stays off the chicken tenders and chicken nuggets for sure. Jaron, Deontay Johnson is iced out, and I'm not talking about jewelry rise. So look, former Ravens wide receiver Deontay Johnson. By the way, I think he played in his last this last season, like the last 4 or 5 games, like back half of the season, he played for like 4 different teams. So former Ravens wide receiver Deontay Johnson says he declined to enter a game in Baltimore last season because his body was ice cold in 41-degree weather and did not want to put out bad film. This is what he's put in his quotes. I wasn't getting into no run plays, no passing plays, or nothing. It was cold. End of the third, going into the fourth, they were like, "Tay, we need you." I was like, "Nah, I don't think it's a good idea for me. Like my legs are already ice cold, and I don't want to go out there and put bad stuff on film. It's not like I didn't want to go into the game, but leading up to this point, I had been through so much. I told them I'm not finna go in, so I just sat on the bench, and that's when they suspended me. Then Deontay Johnson, 28, was eventually waived by the Ravens as a result of his actions. And he's been kind of waived by a plethora of teams, actually. I mean, he's kind of been a locker room cancer, has been saying, Jaron. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I don't blame him. As far as like the Ravens go, I mean, in Carolina, I think they wanted him to be someone for Bryce Young that he just couldn't be. and Bryce Young wasn't at the full potential yet, and that's just what that was. And in Baltimore, I mean, yeah, he played. I don't know how long he was there, but he played in 4 games. He only had 1 reception and 5 targets in 4 games. Like they had him out there, and I mean, I don't know. Maybe he wasn't running. Maybe he wasn't getting open. We can make arguments about it, but I don't blame him. Like you're out there running around for nothing. I mean, you're getting paid, I guess, sure, but you're out there in 40-degree weather. You haven't played all game. His whole thing was they asked him to get in late, like third, fourth quarter. You haven't played all game. I mean, yeah, you should be keeping yourself warm. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. But you haven't played much at all since you've been with the Ravens. Why now? And why would I go out there and possibly hurt myself or put out film that may hurt me in the long run? I don't see a problem with what he did.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, he's with the Cleveland Browns right now, and the weather out there isn't as nice as it is in Baltimore either. So I mean, if he's gonna be ice cold, he's gonna be ice cold out there too. You know, in them snowy games. He's still in the AFC North too, so he's gonna go back to Baltimore regardless. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with him. We'll see what happens. So.
Yeah, this motherfucker went to Toledo too, so I don't know what his problem is with the weather.
He wants to go out west. He want to be out here in San Diego, California, or something like that. But hey, Jaron, that's really all I have for you in terms of our speed round. And I want you guys to let me know down below if any of these topics you guys find interesting. If you have any other things you want to kind of mention as well, leave them down in the comments. With that being said, though, y'all, this concludes our episode of This Week in Sports. Please continue to subscribe, like, comment. Please follow me on This Week in Sports Pod, both on my Instagram and on my what was it again? TikTok. There we go, my TikTok. Also, y'all, I be streaming now too, so I be streaming like Dark Souls, the Dark Souls remaster, y'all. I ain't gonna lie, I'm pretty ass at it though, but you know, if you want to check that out, my Twitch name is Row Your Boat 21, and go check that out, y'all, if you want to see me be the best Dark Souls player ever. So with that being said though, y'all, hope you guys have a great week, and thank you for listening. All right, Jaron.